Meanwhile, a lot of concern on pit road and out on the racetrack where 10 drivers will compete for 50 laps and only 3 will advance to the main event. Denny Hamlin, A.J. Allmendinger up front, Ross Chastain, Kevin Harvick, Todd Gilliland with Chris Buescher, Eric Almirola, Cody Ware, B.J. McLeod, and Corey LaJoie are the 10 contenders. 3 advance, 7 go home. Now, Denny Hamlin will start this one from the pole. His teammate, Martin Truex, has taken the provisional spot, which had Martin raced his way in, would have been available to Hamlin. Not now.
Can you explain, like, why they wouldn't want to have a practice? I mean, they're 2 spots away from transferring. Yeah, the 19 would, I don't know why they wouldn't race. Are they not? They're choosing not to race. I guess they don't want to tear their car up. I would certainly practice, for sure.
So they call it practice because if Truex starts his LCQ, he still has that provisional in his pocket. For him, it would be a practice session should he not advance. He'd still be in the main event.
But if he could race his way into the race from the LCQ, that would have gave the 11 the provisional. That's why he was complaining about it. Where's the team orders at, Kyle?
Joe, let's call Joe. We'll call him. We'll put him on the air.
Here we go, boys.
Green flag, 50 green flag laps. And Hamlin jumps out early. Ross Chastain in the 1 on the inside. A.J. Allmendinger outside.
50 laps is a long time to get this sorted out. You're going to have that in the back of your mind, I would think, Kyle, for air pressure reasons and things like that. You got to take off, hold these guys off, but you got to last 50 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. When I saw the 50 laps on the last chance races, I was like, man, they could probably put on a hell of a better show with 20, but Harvick and Gilliland sure don't know that it's 50.
Going for it.
They're baiting and banging. There's another hit.
Harvick to the inside for 4th. Remember, in these LCQs or last chance qualifiers, only 3 drivers advance.
Yeah, the 3 out front are liking it right now.
Yeah, and Harvick went clear from the outside all the way under to get back to that 4th spot.
The thing that's the trickiest with these cars is the brakes. You know, obviously everybody kind of accordions getting into the corner, and whether you're sliding a tire, now you slide in there too far, you hit the guy in front of you. They're all just trying to make it into the corner so then they can wrap the turn and get back out of the corner, you know.
Oh, around goes Almirola off the bumper of rookie Todd Gilliland, and that will bring out the caution.
That was pretty dirty there, boys. Hooked him in the right rear.
Well, somehow that went from bump him to dump him.
I'm surprised it's taken this long, though, to be honest.
That car is hurt.
Yes, it is. I was just
Who did that? The 38, Todd Gilliland.
I'm going to say the 10 did that to himself. I mean, you can't run the left sides of your race car on that hash mark right there and leave enough room for the guy on the outside. There's not enough room.
He did run him into the wall. I wouldn't say he did it to himself, but he did run him into the wall and got wrecked because of that. That was
right there.
Yeah.
That was
All clear.
that was a payback. Yeah, that's right.
Which paybacks are always bigger.
But that's what you're going to get on a track that's this small, and with the straightaways with the curve in it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit deceiving.
Tony, you're new to the booth, and I didn't want to do this, but that looked costly right there, buddy. That's your horse.
Yeah,
Yes,
unfortunately it did.
We listened in on Todd Gilliland.
Sorry, I tried to just get a line behind him. It's so tight. You just got to be quick. Yeah, 10-4.
Yeah, that's what I'd say too.
He tried to get in line. He tried to get in line.
Well, come on. Now, your spotter's got to be your cheerleader. It's not up to him to pass good or evil and ascribe blame, is it?
No.
Absolutely.
I've been in that position before. I tried to get in line, too. I think Truex ended up off my nose at Bristol once.
So Eric Almirola is out of his car.
Boyer, this could be literally the moment you've been waiting for.
Yeah, watch that tow bar right there. That's something new for the cleanup of these things. You're going to go through the wheel, the spoke in the wheel, and pick this thing right up. My dad was a tow truck driver, and I think he'd be proud of that.
Stoppage of play for Eric Almirola, who finds his way up and into the safer barrier, courtesy Todd Gilliland. 4 laps complete of this 50-lap consolation event or last chance qualifier. Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain, and the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger. Allmendinger chose the outside. Chastain the inside of row 2 with the choose rule. Let's see how that plays out. We're back under green.
Denny slid up a little bit. Big drive off the corner.
Looks like a good choice for Chastain in the 1. He's got the preferred line, restarting third.
Yeah, but AJ's keeping him honest. He's not giving him a lot of room down there. He's going to keep him tight until that right front fender gets into the bumper.
He can't quite get cleared right there. That's going to give Kevin Harvick. He can't get down. It's going to open the door for Kevin Harvick to take a spot as well.
I think Harvick's licking his chops right here. I think he knows he's a little bit better than these two. He just wants to see it single out, and he can go on his own way.
But he needed him to stay side by side just to get the opportunity to close the gap there in case.
Keep the 16 hung.
Yes,
That's exactly what happened.
And Harvick's number 4 moves into a qualified spot. He's now on the bubble.
Now here comes Chris Buescher to the inside.
AJ's rethinking his decision to pick that outside.
That's exactly what we're all watching right now, trying to figure out exactly where you want to be on these restarts. We obviously know the bottom's good, but how far back do you want to be in line before you take that chance choosing that outside?
But it's kind of like Martinsville, in my opinion. It seems like you can hang on there for a lap or two, but if you go any longer than that, you're going to wish you didn't. You better get down.
That's right.
Big shot right there.
And that battle side by side, they are losing touch with the 3 qualified positions. Hamlin, Harvick, and Chastain right now in the qualified spots.
How about Cody Ware coming there in the 51 car?
And that's something we're going to see a lot of in this main event. There is a preferred line that you want to run that makes time. But when you're racing somebody, you have to sit there and be on the inside. You have to turn so much tighter, and you're so much more bound up down there that it costs you guys a lot of time. So if there's 2 of you that are side by side on the racetrack, you know that you got to get this sorted out as quick as you can, or you're going to lose touch with the guys in front of you.
That's right. Yeah, no, you want to get back in line like we saw with the 16 and the 38 were side by side. Now there's too much separation, so the 4 making a move here.
Fast
He
for
gets
second. I think Chastain is let him have it. Move over, let him have it. I'm in training for a spot. I'll take 3rd place, no problem.
I told you he was good. If he could just single file out, he'd get up there. He's got a fast car. He showed that yesterday in practice a bit.
I like what Chastain did there. He made that pass as efficient as possible so he wouldn't fall back into the clutches of Allmendinger.
Exactly. I thought that was very savvy of him to risk versus reward and understand that you just got to get in that top 3, so the least amount of time you can lose in the process was more efficient.
The fight is for 4th, but 4th goes home.
That's right. And on this race, at 50 laps in these LCQs, that's a big deal. You have to be able to run on a long run, air pressure wise, track position wise. Kyle, I was looking at these the bumps down on the bottom of the racetrack. How do you navigate around those? You can see some people with all 4 wheels down on them, just the left side, staying up on the racetrack. What was best for you?
Yeah, contact. All of the above was best for us. I mean, you kind of want to straddle it a little bit. All 4 on the bottom was not good for you, unless, like Tony said, you're going to have a passing lane, a passing line, and using that was what guys were doing to make moves underneath.
A.J. Allmendinger is closing in on 3rd place Ross Chastain.
Yeah, he's faster by about a half a tenth a lap, so it's going to get closed up here, and we'll see a battle for the transfer spot.
How much of those rumble strips do they affect the car? Can you really feel them? Are they abrupt?
You feel them, but you don't feel the tires chatter or bounce really bad. You just feel like a slip and a little bit of lack of grip.
I think that's because of the width of the tire being wider this year. Kind of covers, still keeps the plane of the tire on the surface, but then you just got the gaps underneath.
There's that, but also it's obviously the depth of which those were cut, right? So they're not cut very deep in order to be too upsetting to the car, which these cars have no ride height rules. So how deep did we really know to cut those? I think it's a good balance. It's a good mix. You can use it when you need to, but you're really not going to focus on running down there against the wall, which is what NASCAR intended those to prohibit.
Allmendinger's been making time diving in deep in turn 3 and here in turn 1. But I don't think he's getting off the corner quite as well as Chastain in 3rd.
I'll tell you who's making some good lap time is Kevin Harvick.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Good job right
Running
here.
a 43 to a 53.
I'm sorry, what'd you say? Did I called that? Did I say Harvick was fast? Like once he gets single file out? I mean, he's driven a half a track away from the other guys.
Andy, give me a gold
Buddy, you
star
can't
for Kyle.
just sit up here in the booth and look out the window. You got to tell these people they're looking on the TV. You see these lap times. Come on, don't get ahead of me now.
All right, well, watch what's going on the screen, what they're seeing. That's the battle
You were
for
looking
third.
at
That's
the
transfer
window.
spot. Oh, now you're going to Harvick.
Hey, who would have thought I'd been in a fight with Kyle Busch with it? What'd we make it, 5 minutes up here?
It hasn't been that long.
Here comes the battle for third.
There it is. Yep.
Chastain and Allmendinger. Cody Ware trying to close.
Oh, touching. Little touch. Chastain loose. The gap is closing. He's going to start using a little bumper here. I mean, we still got 20 to go, so.
Here's Allmendinger and company. Bam!
Just stay focused on that one, but we're going to be better than him as we go here.
Until you tap.
Still out there.
I'm telling you, if you want to blink, you better do it now because of the rest of this.
Look at Cody
You're not
Ware
gonna have
looking to the
opportunity.
inside, 3 wide.
Protect the bottom.
2 for 1.
This is what we want to see. We got 3-car battle, transfer spot.
Good work here. Good work. Nice exit. Clear by 1 to the 51.
Telling you, this 51, Cody Ware has a really fast race car. He was good in practice,
was
good
good,
on
yeah.
long runs. I look for him to be all over this 16 in no time.
I don't think Allmendinger's set here. I think he's going to have to make sure he hits his marks here.
And Cody is all 4 wheels below that white line on that paint.
Yep. Little slip
Oh,
there.
slipped up, got loose in.
I can help him in reinforce with.
That's the thing. I mean, you try for that little bit more, and the best spot to gain on somebody is on the brakes, on that entry, and you do just a little bit, and the car slips out, and then you lose time. It's a fine line.
Jamie?
Eric Almirola has been checked and released. Biggest hit we've seen all weekend. What was your take there?
Yeah, that was a bigger hit than I expected as slow as we're going here, but the 38 just destroyed us. Yeah, we had a decent start and we were moving forward, and the 38 just drove in there a mile and tore us up. So.
Thanks, Eric.
On to Daytona for Eric Almirola. 15 to go in this first of 2 50-lap last chance qualifiers. Todd Gilliland inside of Ross Chastain. That's for 5th, and he brings Chris Buescher with him.
You know what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing fade. We haven't run long enough yet and had long enough runs to see fade in lap times, in tires, in grip. You know, it takes 20 laps for the tires to come in, and the longest we've run was a 30-lap practice session. The cars were still great at 30 laps.
And I don't think you have to look any further than what happened with Cody Ware right there. Once he slipped up, made those tires mad, they just lost the grip in him, really took off. A.J. Allmendinger pulled away from him, and that is such an important line right there.
Not only that, but you saw A.J. Allmendinger take the opportunity. He was really cheating that white line and getting the left sides down to protect that spot. As soon as he had a little bit of a gap, he moved up. He still got the left sides down, but he's up on the racetrack much further, and it's making more time. Now he's able to pull away a little bit.
Chris Buescher rebounding. He moves up to 5th. Michael.
Guys, I've caught up with a couple of really interesting spectators. What do you think? What's your initial impression, Austin?
Man, I love it. It's great for the fans. I'm crazy how it went today. I just was pumped to get in the show, really. Last night, I lost a lot of sleep.
He said he was nervous about getting in the show. You made it. You're ready to race. How's it feel?
Yeah, it's different, you know, racing people than what we've had last, yesterday for practice and qualifying. And when you get out there in a race setting, it is pretty intense. So cool to see, a lot of people here. Cool to see these races, and looking forward to the big show tonight.
And guys, it's cool to hang out with a couple of winners up here watching some racing, short track racing.
Dylan and Blaney ready to go for 150 laps.
If you don't think people are excited about being out here in LA and being at the Coliseum, there's your answer right there. Just to hear the drivers losing sleep, nervous the night before the race. I don't don't think I was ever nervous before the clash before.
Because they've never been in a situation where it's do or die. You either make
Qualified.
this race or you go to the house.
Right.
That is a nerve-wracking situation.
I was nervous just coming out here for his preseason testing when I was like, man, I don't know if we're going to make the show. And then practice went okay, and I'm like, okay, I'll set a little easier now.
Whole nother conversation when it means I'm just not going to start good. Heck, I'm going to the house. I'm going to watch this on the couch.
So that's Kyle Busch, who qualified first, won his heat race, and will start up front in the class. Ross Chastain has made it back up to 6th spot, 7th side by side, as Corey LaJoie gains some ground on Todd Gilliland.
I'm just watching the leaders here and just kind of seeing and picking what they're doing with their lines and seeing the lap times and all that sort of stuff. And Harvick was pushing. He was getting closer to the 11. I think he saw a chance where he could win this thing, and he just slipped up the last corner that I saw him. So, you know, lap times are pretty even between those guys.
The other thing I was looking forward to seeing is them catching lap traffic here with a white flag. It's not going to matter, but that was something that, you know, when you're out there here later on in a 150-lap race, you know you're going to have to navigate.
Call it home, Mike.
So Denny Hamlin comes off turn number 4. He will win his 50-lap last chance qualifier from Kevin Harvick, and A.J. Allmendinger holds off Cody Ware by a second and a half to claim the final spot.